Jesus entered the temple, drove out all who sold and bought in the temple, and he overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold pigeons. And he said to them, "It is written," again, this was quoted from Isaiah 56, "My house shall be called a house of prayer, but you make it a den of robbers." Now, unfortunately, what I've heard people do with that passage, they've actually given people license for temper tantrums and said, "Hey, man, they deserved it. They deserved it. I get to do it because they deserved it." Like, no, that's not what this is saying. This is teaching us something really important about Jesus, and we might miss it if we're only focused on what he did with the tables and all that kind of stuff. Because remember the temple's purpose. That was the place that God dwelled among his people. That was the place that people received forgiveness for their sins. That's how that mechanism worked. It was the location for worship. It was where all nations were supposed to come and be blessed. That was why God installed the temple. Yet, the religious leaders at the time had abused it for their own gain. They had started to lose the mission of the temple. So Jesus needed to come overturn it. It had abandoned its original purpose. And so God said, Jesus, here's what we're going to do. We're going to flip the tables of this thing. But don't forget, again, we're contrasting David and Jesus. Don't forget that the tabernacle was David's system of worship. That's where David would worship. That's where David needed to receive forgiveness through sacrifices. That was where the worship happened. David was in that. So the contrast here is that David was in that system, but Jesus, we saw it here, was over that system. Right? David, that's how he worshiped. The son of David, though, he's over that. He was over the system. He had the authority to come in and hit the reset button on the whole thing. This is wrong. This is wrong. What authority does he have to say that? Well, he showed it just a couple days later, because not only did he flip the tables in the temple, he also repeatedly said that his body is the temple. You tear it down, 3 days later, I'll build it back up. And they were like, you can't build this building like that. He's like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the true temple. And so his authority to do that, proven by his death and resurrection over all the system, he can do it. And what we learn from that is that we don't come to God through a building anymore. We come to God through a person, the Son of God in the flesh. The Son of David is the way to the Father now, not through any system or through a person like David. It's through the Son of God, the Son of David. So David was in the system. Jesus was over the system.